P. monodon, green tiger prawn, is the most candidate species for culture. Testes have 6 lobes. All lobes are connected on the inner margin leading to vas deferens. Spermatozoa are stored in the terminal of ampullae. Inhibitory hormone are secreted in the early maturity stage. Matured ovary has dark color due to the accumulation of the carotenoid pigment. The first abdomen segment assumed that have diamond shape called as saddle. Male have petasma on the first pair of pleopod. Female have thlycum on the 4th and 5th pair of walking leg. Male has gonophore on the 5th pair of the walking leg. Female has gonophore on the 3rd pair of walking leg. The fecundity rate of range from 2 to 10 locks per female. The fertilized egg is called as zygote. Flow cytometer is method used to monitor the fertilization rate. A newly hatched larvae is 0.34 min size, dark yellow in color and have 3 pairs of appendages. The duration of nauplius stage is 36 to 48 h. Protozoa start the feeding. After 20 to 22 mold-shaped body and appendages resemble that of adult. The first successful breeding and larvae rearing was done by the Huidinaga. Removal of eye stalk was firstly done by the Pinus. The interval between the eye stalk ablation and spawning is known as latency period. M. rosenbergii, commonly called as scampi. Raft culture is undertaken where water depth above the 5 m depth. Rack culture is undertaken where water depth is below 5 m depth. The first captive breeding of freshwater prawn was done by the S.W. Ling but perfected by the Fujimura. M. rosenbergii breeding in India was done by Rajaya Lakshmi. Southwest monsoon influences, Kerala coast. Growth in crustaceans, depends on feed quality. Nursery ground for shrimp larvae, estuary. MIH, secreted by neurosecretory hormone. Y gland located in antennary and maxillary gland. Scylla tranquibarica size of male 133 mm, female 125 mm. Incubation period of crab, 15 days. Male lobster deposits spermatophores in sternum of female. Newly hatched crab larvae, 1.2 mm. Length of 5th zoea stage of crab is 3.5 mm. Exuvia, shed off shell. Malting is induced by ecdysone. Malting is controlled by MIH. Shrimps breed in deep sea. Eye stalk ablation done in shrimps for induced maturation. Crustacean maturation depends on light, hormone, feeding and water quality. Lobsters carry their eggs during incubation. Seed production technique for sand lobster, Panulurus americanus, was standardized in USA. Y gland responsible for regulating malting in shrimp. Freshwater seed production technology was first described by S.W. Ling. Gonopore is an opening used for release of gamete in crustaceans. Inhaling or siphoning is a process by which oysters takes in water. Vertical transmission is a disease transmitted from brood stock to larva. Testes of penids have 6 lobes. Lobster breeding cycle, 250 days. Gonad shape of lobster, H shape. Shrimp larvae prefer Skeletoma and Tetraselmis. Oyster larval feed, Isocrasis galbana, Pavlova dicartia, and all phytoflagellates. Luminescence in hatchery is caused by Vibrio Harvey and V. alginolyticus. Common inducing agents in hatchery, H2O2, NaOH, NH3O and tris buffer. Freshwater prawn does not require eye stalk ablation. Intermult period is a right period of eye stalk ablation. Silver nitrate is a chemical used in electrocauterization. MIH/GIH are prevented by eye stalk ablation. Larval stage of edible oyster is 5. Diatoms and microalgae are basic feeds for pearl oyster larvae. Freshwater prawn breeds in brackish water. The post-larva of oyster is called as spat. Feeding nature of Protozoa, Peneus monodon, is herbivores. Ag, androgenic hormone. AHT, Artemia hatching tank. Casting of old shell and forming new exoskeleton is called as malting. Sperm receiving organ in female is called as seminal receptacle. Removal or extirpation of organ is called as ablation. Latency period is the interval between eye-stalk ablation and spawning. Sex ratio for shrimps under captivity is 1:2, male, female. Prawn that lives only in fresh water, M.cha prey. Prawn that lives only in sea water, Metapneus oceanica. The shrimp that doesn't come to estuarine phase, kitty shrimp. Larval stage of prawn, 11. Larval stage of P. monodon 12.